What's up, everybody? Aaron with Quality Service Today, plumbing out of Mebane, North Carolina. We're going to be going over real quick how to flush your water heater or do a minor service on a gas water heater. It's recommended by the manufacturer to do this yearly. It's a good idea to stay on top of it. There's also major services you can do. We'll talk about that a little bit. But one of the biggest things you need to do is flush it out. It's basically, it gets a bunch of sediment in the bottom of it. Due to poor water quality, if you don't have water treatment system, things like that, you'll hear a popping noise when it's heating up. It'll sound like it's crackling. Typically, you're paying to heat a bunch of sediment. The other issue with all the sediment in there is it's not sensing the actual right temperature of the water. It's sensing the temperature of the sediment. So a lot of times what can happen is it'll overheat your gas control valve. These gas control valves are pretty sensitive compared to the other ones, the older styles. It'll cause them to overheat, kick out. A lot of times you end up having to change the gas control valve. So we'll go over this real quick today, show you how to do it. One of the first things you're going to want to do, absolutely first, absolutely last, you don't have to kick the gas off because then you'll have to relight the pilot. You're going to turn this gas valve down to vacation or pilot. Either one does the same thing. What that does is it keeps the burner from flaming up when it senses the temperature difference. Then you're going to take a garden hose. You're going to want a garden hose, just a regular old garden hose. You're going to hook it to the drain valve at the bottom here. You're going to take a flathead. Right now we haven't shut the water off because sometimes the sediment's going to be plugging this up. So we're going to use a flathead. We're going to kick this on. Let it flow for a second with some pressure behind it. Turn your valve off. No more water flow. Pressure relief. You're going to open this up. And you're going to let it drain all the way down. It usually takes, as long as the sediment's all the way out of it, usually takes maybe 30 minutes. If you stay up to date on this, so one of the worst things that you can do is go, 5-10 years, and there's a bunch of sediment at the bottom of it. Your TMP hasn't been used. This can start leaking when you get done. You could end up, if the heater's over, if it's over about 5-6 years old and it's never been flushed, you don't have a record of it, you should probably not do this because you could have a pinhole leak in the bottom of it that the sediment is sealing off from the water pressure. You could do this, and then when you get done, your heater's leaking, and then you got to replace it. So past about 6 years old, 6 years, heaters aren't meant to last like they used to be. 2000 model heaters lasted, 20 years. They don't last like that anymore. Usually 7 to 10 years. So we're gonna let this drain all the way down, and then we'll come right back. All right, so we got the heater drained all the way down. Just keep an eye on the end of the garden hose. One of the biggest things is make sure the garden hose is outside. If you're in a closet inside, an attic, you're gonna want to take that usually to like a garden tub or shower. Don't recommend dumping straight hot water into a cold toilet. Porcelain doesn't like temperature change. So you're going to want to make sure you got it in a good, safe place. We're in a garage, so it's pretty easy. We just take it right out. So what you're going to do, you keep an eye on the end of the hose, drained all the way down. First thing you're going to do is you're going to kick your boiler drain off. You drain valve off with your screwdriver. You can go ahead, you can turn your valve back on. So we'll turn the valve, the incoming water back on. We're going to start filling it back up. You do one of two things here. You can leave your TMP valve open, your pressure relief open. It'll get a majority of all the water out. The other thing, you've induced a lot of air into the system. So you're going to get a lot of any sediment buildup on the pipes or anything like that if you don't have water treatment. you're gonna wanna open up a bathtub on the hot side. There's no screen in a bathtub typically, and you're gonna let it run until the water's flowing just steady, clear. Then you can shut it off. So we can either leave this open, start watching it, or we just go ahead and shut this. It's the easiest thing to do. Go open up a bathtub. I've got a mop faucet over here. You can open up, get all the air out of the system. Once that's running fully clear and everything, you go ahead and you'll just turn your temperature back to hot. On these newer heaters, hot is 120 degrees. A is like 130, 140. I don't recommend turning that up, but we didn't even have to mess with the gas. I said earlier we would talk about, while this thing's filling, some of the more major servicing you can do. Your anode rod, typically a lot of people don't replace them. You gotta have a very big impact to get them out. It's really hard to get them out, but there's an anode rod inside of here. It's a self-sacrificial rod. It helps make that water heater last longer. You can go ahead and change that out, especially if your water heater is about the 6-year mark. Depends on your water quality. The more poor the water quality, the quicker that rod's gonna go bad. You can go ahead, you can take a vacuum cleaner. You got a screen down here on the bottom on these gas units. You can vacuum that out, clean it out real good. I'll probably do a video a little bit later on how to do a more in-depth service, but one of the biggest things is keeping the screen clean. It clean around the bottom from dust, lint. If this heater's in a laundry room, it's gonna be a lot worse. Clean up on top of it, make sure you don't have a lot of lint. And your heater should last a good long time. Average life, again, 7 to 10 years. But doing maintenance, that's one reason heaters don't last that long. When they're on the shorter end of the spectrum, normally they have not been serviced. Typically, take a Sharpie, right on here, flushed heater, and put the date so if somebody buys your house, they know. It's really good. We typically put service stickers on them, letting people know when they've been serviced is a real good idea. But I hope this video helps you out. If you got any questions, don't forget to comment at the bottom, send me a message, subscribe to the channel. More than happy to help you out. Have a great day.